Hello, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Testing. Can you hear fine? Okay, good. I know I do this every time too, but let me know if there's an echo or that buzzing sound that's always on my videos. So since I'm late, hi to everybody. Thank you for being here and for being patient as well. For future reference, next time I say a certain time, say it's 7 o'clock, might as well just come in around 7:10. Be your best bet. I'm kidding. I'm not always late. So I don't really have any presentation or agenda or anything, but I haven't done a live in a while, and a little bit's happened. Well, I guess maybe a lot's happened, but I wanted to go over my video that I just posted a little bit more because I know I sped through it kind of quickly. They just take so long to make. The way I do it, anyways, it takes a long time to make the videos. So the more detail, the longer it takes. So. Of course, I could just, I guess, go on and just start rambling and talking, but then the video would be really long. I just glanced at the chat. Do I dare look up and see what everybody's talking about? Okay, so let me pull up. Sorry, I should have had the video pulled up already. Let me pull up my video and we'll get this going. Is everyone doing all right? It's hotter than heck here. It's supposed to be, I don't know what date it's supposed to be, but it's supposed to be, I think, Sunday. I think it's supposed to be 111 here. Yikes. Believe it or not, it's actually been quite nice the last couple of days because it's only been 103 and 104. Sounds crazy, right? I mean, I try to give you guys a little bit of notice this time instead of an hour or half hour. Of course, I'm going to try to play my video, but I don't know why my computer's so slow. It's just like one of those. I mean, it's a Dell, but it's a little bit older, and it's like the ones, like the little mini, not mini ones, but the ones just that are perfect for students. It'll probably have to be not in full screen because it makes it lag. Please tell me if I start mumbling because I tend to do that. Ellie 79. I know. That would be nice. It's like nothing that comes out of that man's mouth is the truth. All right, share screen. Let's see, share screen. Oh, is Dave G? Is he here? Is he? I wanted to ask if you found anything else out about that Janelle Stables um, person that visited Chris in prison. Okay, so we don't have all this dead silence. Somebody's gonna have to call in or something because it feels weird talking to myself all the time. But if you guys are familiar, I'm sure you guys are all familiar. I know you guys are all familiar with the predictive programming and all the connections and between American Horror Story and in this case. So, actually, first, what I'll do before I go over the video is I wanted to kind of, because I know I did the videos in parts, but I mean that was mainly just because I didn't expect all those connections to keep occurring. I didn't expect to. I didn't expect any when I first started season one. I wasn't sure what to expect, but seeing the trailer on Nate's TV got me going. That's pretty. That's pretty coincidental. That's kind of odd. What's going on here? That it would match, the Watts storyline almost to the T within 14 seconds. I think the trailer was. So, that's when I went and started watching season one of American Horror Story. So that's the reason why they're all in, different parts. Just not knowing if there were gonna be any more, and there just kept being more, and so I just kept making more videos. But I think that it makes it kind of difficult for, I guess, to really see, I mean, how many of the people involved in the Watts case have the same names in the Watts case and the same in American Horror Story. So I kind of wanted to put it on paper for you guys, and so you guys can kind of see it, if that makes sense. So what I did was I mean, to me, 3 names is enough to convince me, but I just want to show you guys, you know, statistics. If I can talk today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down or type the names out for you guys. And you guys can, I'll try to keep an eye on the chat. So what I did is sorry, helicopter. Wait for it to pass. All right, we're good. Okay, so anyway, what I did was I wrote down all the names on paper that I considered to be, I guess you say, main characters in the case. And you guys can maybe help me out with what you guys think would be considered not a main character, but I don't want to say character, but main people in the case. All right, you guys can all see that, right? If not, too bad. I'm just kidding. All right, so we have Chris Watts. I'm going to change the font really quick because that's going to drive me crazy. Make it bigger for you guys here. Whoa, okay, that's pretty big. Okay, so we have Chris Watts, and then we have Shanann Watts, and then we have Nicole. And if I spell it wrong, I apologize. Atkinson. We have Nicholas. Oh. We have Bella Watts. Celeste Watts. And if I miss anybody, let me know in the chat, and then I'll add them if I do, because I'm sure, I know I'm missing one of Shanann's friends. Addie Maloney. Troy McCoy. Chad McNeil. Atkinson. And I wouldn't, I guess, consider Nicole Atkinson's daughter a main person in the case, but I say let's include as much as we can. That way we can get, I guess, I mean, not everybody in the discovery. I'm not going to just throw names in there, obviously, but let's just add her just because she was on the body cam and stuff. Nate. And I would have had this prepared, but I wanted to, like I said, do the list with you guys. Betty Marcoux. Frank. Andy Ruchek. McKenna. Lindstrom. Hazel Heckers. Graham. I don't know if that's spelled right. Okay. Chemi. Dave Baumhover. Ronnie Watts. Cindy Watts. Charlotte. Wilson. Imbo. Cindy. Rosier, or is it like French or something? Cindy Rosier. Michael. Okay, so who am I missing here, guys? Oh, Dwayne. Okay, Dwayne. We want to add NK's dad. Okay. Thank you. Okay, no, it's too small. Huh? All right. All right. Who else? Trent. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Jan. Trent. Yeah. Amanda. I don't know how to spell it. Meg. No. I'm gonna. Okay, we'll just put an M for now. Caffeine Q Dieter. Well, I guess we could include him. I guess he is a part of the narrative. Okay, so Dave. Oh, okay. Can someone remind me who that is again? Why am I having a brain fart here? Oh, and then we have Mark, Chris's friend. Mark, I don't remember his last name either. Oh, McMahon. Okay. Thank you. McMahon. We got Betty. Dave Cole. We got Dave. Oh, yes. Thank you. The Thayers. Mama Bear. Okay. Another Amanda. Okay. Weird. Okay. See if I can fit this on one page. Sorry about the clicking. Okay, so there's the people that are okay. The ones I used in the videos are, you know, ones that couldn't be considered um, coincidental because it's a common name, like Dave Baumhover. There's multiple, excuse me, there's multiple people in American Horror Story that have these other people's names, but I didn't want to push it by adding people with those, with common names. So let's start first with, um, let's skip Chris because that's a common name. Um, Shanann. Okay, we don't have Shanann. No Nicholas. I think there's a Nicholas, but there's no Nicole. Okay, so Bella Watts. Okay, we have Bella Watts. Her name comes, it's funny. As I was watching season 7, season 7, season 7, or the season before Bella's name shows up. She comes in 19. I think it's season 9, 1984. Okay, so I was watching season 8, and I said to my boyfriend, I said, "Well, we pretty much have most all of the names except for I don't think they've mentioned um, Bella in any of the seasons." So when season 9 came out, the 1984, the very first episode, if you guys seen my videos, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I'm sorry if I'm repetitive for those of you that have seen the videos, but I just wanted to go over them again since I did break them up in different sections. So Bella comes in, and so I said that to my boyfriend. I said, we haven't seen Bella. And then so the very first episode of 1984, the gas station attendant is working on a car at night, and there's a cat that runs by real quick and scares him, and he says, "Dang it, Bella, you scared the heck out of me." I'm pretty sure that I almost spit out whatever I was drinking because I couldn't believe it. It's almost like they're just like kind of throwing things in there in the last minute just to kind of like get everybody in there. But it's just funny that I said that after season 8, and then the very first episode, we have Bella's name mentioned. So she's in 19. So I'm gonna try and remember each season so that you guys can see from which season they're in, just to show you. So we have Bella Watts and then Celeste Watts. Okay, so Celeste came in season 8. Hopefully this is right. If the season numbers are off, I apologize, but they are the correct season name. Season 8 Colt. And she was mentioned because Celeste, I remember her last name, but Celeste was one of the victims of the Zodiac killer. I'm sure one of you guys can answer her or let me know her last name, you true crime buffs. Okay, victim of Zodiac. Sorry. Okay, Zodiac. Okay, Addie Maloney. They mentioned Addie in season 1, Murder House. Separate that so it doesn't blend so much here. Okay. Season 1 Murder House and Adelaide. Addie Langdon is the Harmons who live in the murder house neighbor. Oh, sorry, guys. Okay, sorry. Okay, so Addie, okay, Adelaide or Addie Langdon, Harmon's neighbor. Okay. I just turned my finger off here. My lord. All right, Troy. Okay, so I'm going to skip Troy because I'll come back to him. Okay, so then we have Chad McNeil. And then we have Chad. Is it Chad Warwick? I think it's Chad Warwick. Like, gosh, I can't remember. Okay, Chad Warwick. And he's in, sorry, season 1 Murder House. Chad Warwick. And Chad Warwick is the one in the first season, the first video that I made, American Horror Story video, that he's sitting at the table and he tells his friend or whoever he's talking to that, which is, it doesn't match up because obviously you have to think outside the box because obviously they're not going to be the exact same character. So Chad Warwick is actually gay, and so he's talking to his friend at the table about how his boyfriend is acting strange, and he's scared about having another baby, and we know that Chris was scared about having the Nico, the third baby too, as far as we know. All right, I'm gonna mute again here in a second, guys, because my boyfriend's leaving, so I don't want to. He has to start the car, so. But okay, so back to where was I? Okay, Chad Warwick. Okay. He is the former owner of the murder house. Okay, and then I'm going to skip Madison. We'll get back to her. And then we'll go back to Nate. You know, Betty Marcoux is obviously Chris's neighbor, but then we see Betty's name appear in season. What season is it? 2 of this Asylum? Murder House, Asylum, and then we have Freak Show. Okay, so season 3, Freak Show. Okay, and then Betty is one of the conjoined twins in the show. I think it's pretty crazy how. I mean, I have never personally met any Bettys. I haven't met a lot of Bettys, but I have never met one personally that spelled their name with an E. I'm sure a lot of Bettys spell it that way, but I would imagine it's not the most common way to spell Betty. I would think it would either be a Y or an I. But so just that connection right there is pretty crazy. All right, he's leaving. I'm gonna mute you guys. 1 second. Okay, or so I thought. I don't know what he's doing. Okay, sorry. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, so we're now. So Frank Rusek will skip. Sandy. Sandy will skip. Okay, we have McKenna Lindstrom. We see McKenna's name pop up in season 6, I believe. Hotel. Might be season. No, yeah, Hotel. And then Sally McKenna is ghost at hotel. Okay, guys, sorry. My room's right next to the garage, so it would have been super loud. Okay, Graham Coder, we'll skip. Tammy Lee. Now the Lee thing is really strange because yeah, it's a common middle name. It's a very common little middle name. But I think I used in my video I mean technically we could consider Lee for the character Lee that shows up in season 7, Roanoke. And then we have Lee Miller, which is Matt Miller, one of the main characters' sister. Okay, we'll skip Dave. We'll skip Ronnie, Cindy. And then we have Charlotte. Charlotte gets brought up in season 1, Murder House. And she is the author. Oops. Season 1, Murder House. Sorry, bear with me, guys. And then you have Charlotte. Oh, yay. Trying to make the font big enough so you guys can see so you're not straining. Charlotte Perkins. I don't know the spelling, but it's been a long time since I made that video. And she is the author of a book that's mentioned in the show. Okay, then we have Jim. Jim gets brought up in season 1. Now, Jim, you could argue with this one because Jim is a common name. But I say that we're going to go ahead and just include him because we're just going to for now. And then we can figure that out later. And then they bring up Jim because Chad Warwick, who I mentioned earlier, catches his boyfriend talking to someone online named Jungle Jim. Hey, we could start calling him that now. Jungle Jim. Okay. Jungle Jim. I don't remember the number of the screen name. It was like 425. Anyway, so that's his. He was talking to someone online named Jungle Jim. Okay, we'll skip Cindy. Michael Work. We'll skip Wayne. We'll skip Kent. We'll skip, and then Amanda. Then Mark. I don't remember his last name. And then we have Nick there and Amanda there. Okay, so we have a couple Amandas. We have a couple Cindys. A lot of Lees. A lot of Nicoles. Okay, so now the ones that I mentioned are ones that are most likely not going to be coincidental, in my opinion. So let's put a asterisk next to these ones. So these are all the ones that we know for sure. To me, the Betty one is crazy. I mean, that I saw that and I was shocked. Okay, McKenna, not a very common name, even though One's the first name and one's last name. That's fine. Hazel, that was a crazy one. Hazel Heckers, and then I'm sorry, I didn't put her name, which is even more crazy because it's Hazel Evers. Hazel Heckers, Hazel Evers. Pretty close. Okay, Graham skip. So we have Lee. And then we also have Matt Miller's wife, which is Shelby. And we know that Chris and Kessinger went to the Shelby Car Museum. Let's not forget that one. Okay, so we have Charlotte. Charlotte's not too common of a name. We're going to add Jim in there because he's important. Okay, so if we count, so just these right there, let's see if we can do the math on these. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. Okay, 10 out of, the list is a bit longer this time, but that's okay. 10 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, great. Now I'm going to count the second line. Hold on, guys. Okay, so I think if I added correctly, it's 34. Let me do the math on here. Okay, so it comes to about 10 out of 34 is like 29%. So 10 out of 34 people is roughly 29% of the same names. The list I had when I did it last night, it was almost about 50%, but I know we added a lot more. And those are the ones that are for sure, I mean, in my opinion, cannot be a coincidence. I mean, especially the Betty one, the Hazel Heckers, Hazel Evers. I mean, it's crazy. So now if we go back, Chris is used in the show, but again, it's a really common name, so I'd rather not add that one, just because I don't want to push it. Nicholas is mentioned, but again, a common name, so we'll skip that one again. And I don't think there's it's funny, there's no Nicole ever mentioned in American Horror Story, and it's never mentioned hardly in any of the discoveries. It's like she signed some sort of something, but I don't want my name mentioned in any of this stuff. That's fine, but it's weird that it's not mentioned. She's not mentioned in the name Nicole is not mentioned in either American Horror Story or pretty much any of the documentaries, unless of course it's for a second and it makes her look good. Okay, now Troy McCoy. Troy McCoy is another one that's common name, but I will tell you that Troy does come up in the first season of American Horror Story. Well, okay. Murder House. And he is one of the twin boys that they show in the beginning. Okay. Okay, now we have Madison. Madison, I didn't put originally in the video because I thought that adding Nicole Atkinson's daughter's name would be pushing it as well. But there is a character she plays in more than one season, and it is Madison. Multiple seasons, and the character's name is Madison Montgomery. Okay. So Betty, okay, so Frank is mentioned as well a couple times. One is a lawyer, and I don't remember the other one's name. I just looked it up last night, but again, I didn't add Frank because common name. Sandy, I don't believe was mentioned. Could be wrong. Graham, not mentioned. I don't think there's a Dave, and I don't think there's a Ronnie. Cindy is mentioned. There's a Cynthia that's mentioned, which is the same as Cindy, but again, I don't want to push it. So there is a Michael. And Michael again is a common name, so I didn't add work. But the character is Michael. Oh, I'm sorry. Season 9 Apocalypse. And he is Michael Langdon. Okay, so we'll just add that in there. And then I don't think Dwayne's mentioned, which would be kind of crazy because that's not a really common name. Let me check and see if there's a Trent. Okay, I'm not positive there's a Trent, but anyways, if I had to look it up like that, then it's probably pushing it. So I just wanted to put this list out there and just show you. I mean, if you think that almost 30% of the characters and is not very much, but I don't know if these can be I don't know, is Dave Cullen, is he considered a main person in the case? But the ones like Bella, Celeste, Addie, and then Chad's common. Madison, not so much. Like I said, okay, and then the Nate is kind of weird because I did add it in the first season, but I wasn't sure if they were maybe just trying not to be so obvious because, and I will put it down here, but in season 1, Murder House, you have Tate Langdon, and he's the Harmon's neighbor. So we got in American Horror Story we have a Tate, sounds like Nate, neighbor. Nate was a neighbor. Okay, so again that could be pushing it, but I did add that in the first one. And now these are just the name connections by themselves, you guys. So that's not even including everything else added into it as far as the storyline goes. So I just wanted to show you guys that on paper. Sorry for delays and stuff, but let me look at chat and see what's going on here. And I will put a link if anybody wants to call in. I know everybody's shy, but if I can do it, you can do it. I believe in you. But do I know how? Okay, so there's a link if anybody wants to call in. I can try it. I don't know how to do it. Never done it before, but so after I started noticing, forgot I was looking in the chat. ADD is American Horror Story. Yeah, American Horror Story is on Netflix. Yes. Oh, Cupcake Rainbow. Yes. Oh, yeah. That Lady Gaga being in playing a role in. She played in 2 seasons. She played in Roanoke and Hotel, and her role and her character in Hotel is actually pretty disturbing. And I should say spoiler alerts because if you guys have never seen the show, I don't want to spoil it for you guys. But and no way am I saying promoting to go watch American Horror Story or not. I just have to do this so that um, obviously to show you the connections. But Lady Gaga's role, she plays the Countess in Hotel, the season Hotel, and she, uh, long story short, she kidnaps little kids. Oh, boyfriend's back. Hold on, guys. Okay, sorry. Not only is he kind of loud, but he likes to take his time. No, it's okay. Sorry, guys. This is why you see now I it's hard for me to schedule lives. It's just chickens and everything, and boyfriends and cats, and anyway. Okay, so what I was saying was, what was I saying? what I was saying is Hotel and Lady Gaga, right? So she and her character in the show actually kidnaps children and keeps them in the basement of, or in a secret room, I guess, of the hotel. And she actually drains the blood from the children, and she drinks it in order to make her youthful and stay young, which is pretty disturbing if you guys know anything about the whole, well, plays into the spirit cooking and the whole adrenochrome thing. It's pretty disturbing, actually, to say the least. If it is real, it's very disturbing, and the fact that Lady Gaga is supposedly a part of that whole adrenochrome thing, um, and that her character does it in the show is pretty disturbing, to say the least. Um, but yeah, so not to get off track there, but I thought that was pretty weird. Hi, Mia. Hi, everybody that came in and I didn't see. I'm sorry. If anybody else did, I don't know. You might hear a rooster crowing in a minute. So again, I apologize. It's crazy. Um, so I don't even remember what I was saying before. Oh boy, what was I saying before the Lady Gaga thing? I don't remember. Does anybody remember? Because I don't. I was going to lead it into my next point, but think. I don't remember. So anyway, gosh, I don't remember what I was going to say. It's so frustrating. Help me out, guys. Okay, I said that that's just the names, and that you have all the other connections as far as details and everything goes. And then I said something after that, and then I said the Lady Gaga thing, and I don't remember. Yes, Selena, I did say that as well. But before that and after the connections thing. Okay, so anyway, so I noticed after, well, when going through the discovery, I always noticed that there are certain times where I would find myself thinking, wow, that's a really strange name, or why would they say that in the discovery? That seems kind of odd. Why put that in there? Um, and most of the times when I said one of those things, when I thought that, um, it was some sort of connection that I found in the past video that I just, or the most recent video that I just posted. Um, so what I've seen is that anytime in the case where not anytime, but most time, or most likely, if something sounds odd to you, or it shouldn't be there, or it's like confusing. Um, in my opinion, I think that that's parts that are specifically put in there, that are either symbolic or their connections, something that they specifically, whoever's controlling this narrative, wanted to specifically put in there. Kind of like the, I don't know if this is the best example, but when I was reading the discovery, and the agent um, states that he listened to that Kessinger left Chris a voicemail, and he says that it was followed by she had a creepy giggle. Right, we all heard the giggle. Granted, I agree with him. I think we all can agree it's creepy. However, what's strange about it is, why would the agent specifically, why, I mean, just because he thinks that her laugh is creepy, that doesn't mean everybody else does, even though we all do. But that's not the point. The point is that, why add that little extra um, detail into it? Why not? Why would you add that into it? Why not just, it's supposed to be a police, you know official police document, and you're leaving your personal opinions on someone involved in the case. Does that make sense? I hope it does, because it makes sense in my head. But so why not just put Nicole Kessinger left Chris a voicemail saying, hi, hee hee, call me back, whatever. Why add in there the creepy giggle thing? And I'm almost certain, and I'm not positive, but I want to say that that laugh is probably most likely from some sort of horror movie that's got a creepy doll in it, that they threw in there. But I didn't put that in the video because I don't know for a fact, because I haven't been able to find it yet. So I don't like to put stuff in there if I'm just, guessing. So, yeah, so they're using, so I was going to play my video that I just posted, but it's probably not going to play because whatever, my computer's lagging, or the internet, I don't know. But I just wanted to go into a little bit more detail, and I know that this has already taken a long time, but so I'll try to hurry. When I saw that, oh, that's what it was. I think it was, I just remembered, when I saw that commercial on Nate's trailer, I had to go and I had to watch American Horror Story, just because, out of curiosity. But when it kept happening and all the connections kept happening, I just kept going, oh my god, are they serious? Is this real? Oh my god. So if you guys haven't watched it, and again, I'm not trying to pitch American Horror Story whatsoever, but you guys are all familiar with the case, and the fact that you guys are, if you watch season 1 all the way through season, whatever, 9 now, and then 10's coming out, if there's any more connections than 10, I probably wouldn't be surprised, but that would be just absolutely ridiculous if they're dragging it on that much. But if you watch season 1 to the most recent season, you're gonna be just as shocked. I'm still shocked, and when I made the videos about it. I mean, it's just like, you're gonna find yourself going, "Oh my god, seriously? Like, that's crazy." But no way. But when I was reading the discovery over this past year and a half, almost 2 years, again, I started noticing weird things, especially after the American Horror Story videos, because now they started to make a little bit more sense. They were always weird to me, but they started to make more sense. So, like, for instance, the Ted Bundy thing. A lot of weird, strange names in this case, and of course, people have strange last names and strange names all the time. And I'm not a name expert by all means, but Hazel Heckers, and that could be very well be their real names. I mean, I'm not saying it's not their real names, but just the fact that you have Hazel Heckers and you have Hazel Evers. I mean, Hazel is not a very common name, and then to add all the other name connections on top of that one, and so on and so forth, that's when you have to start to really think, something's probably going on here. But so back to what I was saying. So the Ted Bundy thing I thought was strange. Hazel, there's many of them, but knowing that the producers of American Horror Story, I don't know who it is. I don't even know. I don't know if it's somebody connected to the production of American Horror Story. I don't know if it's whoever wrote this narrative for this case is obsessed with the American Horror Story show, and is doing all this, but I always refer back to the fact that we have that connection with um, FX. I'm sorry, 21st Century Fox, which is uh, the owners of FX, which airs American Horror Story. There's that connection that they have to Anna Darko, having shares with Anna Darko, and what was that one? 21st Century Fox has shares with Anna Darko, which is the producers of American Horror Story. And then we have Blackstone. We have the wonderful company Blackstone that is not known for being corrupt whatsoever. I'm kidding. So we know that Blackstone and 21st Century Fox both have shares in Anna Darko, and then we have the Blackstone and Blackstone owning Vivint connections. So let's not forget all that. But it's my belief that I know I'm skipping all over the place here, but whoever is controlling the narrative is or was or is using predictive programming to symbolically prepare us for whatever. They don't know the exact reason for predictive programming. There's a couple theories on it, but bottom line, I'm just they wanted us to see that commercial on HTV. That I can guarantee you 100% that was not a spiritual. I guess I still have to stay in my opinion, but I'm 100% certain that was there on purpose for us to see. And if it wasn't there, I would have never known about all these connections to American Horror Story. So they purposely wanted us to see that trailer. How they did it, if Nate is a part of it, I don't know. All I can tell you is that it was put there because they wanted us to see it. And whether or not what your theories are on this case, there's too many of these name connections, and there's just too many other connections between American Horror Story and the case that any right-minded person can honestly say that it's all coincidental. You just can't. So whether or not you believe, that it's a psyop or it was a social experiment, or you think that people really died, or you thought it was a sacrifice, it doesn't matter. What matters is that the predictive programming and all these connections, and the trailer coming on ATV, it proves that somebody or someone's or more than one person had foreknowledge that this event was going to happen. So that right there, it should be, enough in itself to piss anybody off. Because it pisses me off. Because it's like they're throwing it in our faces, and it's like, here, we're telling you, we're giving you hints, which is one of the theories of predictive programming. It's like they believe whoever they are, the elite, whatever, the higher power, whatever you want to call them, they believe that if they put hints into things like movies and television, if they put it out there, whether they be subtle or obviously blatant in your face, and we the public are too stupid to realize it, then, which it'd be impossible. There's no way nobody would be able to in 2012 be able to say, oh my god, I think that this is actually really going to happen. I think that this guy is actually going to murder his entire family, and this is going to be crazy. So no, nobody. It's stupid. It's just a cop out for them to say, oh, we gave them, we told them what we're doing, through this television show, through this movies, whatever, and And if they're too stupid to realize it, then that's their own fault. So now we don't have bad karma because we told them, and they're just too stupid to realize it. So now they don't have any bad karma on their hands. It's ridiculous and it's stupid and it infuriates me because it's like they're literally throwing it in our faces, and I almost feel like they're just like laughing at us. So, like I said, no matter what you feel happened in this case, we need to know why someone had foreknowledge that this was going to happen, and go from there, I guess. But to me, that's one of the most disturbing things is that somebody knew that it was going to happen, and that someone's controlling the narrative. And then, so now that being said, if we go back to the video that I just posted, when I said I was noticing certain things about the case, the certain that's weird things. Most of the time that I said that, it was a connection that I found in the case. So, and I didn't even know about the true crime community until I started following this case. So this is still all new to me, and I granted I watch true crime shows, on Discovery, and I watch Forensic Files and all that. I love all those shows, and I've followed some cases, but not like extensively. But so I don't know every detail about the different cases. I've never even heard about those Ken and Barbie doll killers until I actually watched that Don't F with Cats show. And then I just had recently seen that movie. It's what's it called? I don't know. It's the one that has the girl from that '70s show. And anyways, it's about the Ken and Barbie doll murders. And so I didn't even know about it. But so it's kind of coincidental that I saw the Ken doll, and then we have a Ken doll in the Watts case. So there's probably a lot more that they're throwing in there that I don't even know about because I don't know every single detail about cases. The OJ Simpson thing, from the minute I saw the body cam footage of the going to the Watts house for Nate calling and saying it was a possible break-in, and the defense team was there, I found it really strange, but I don't know anything about it. Maybe it's common for them, the defense team, to go to their defendants, or clients, whatever, to the house after it's been released or whatever. I don't know. All I knew is that it was strange, and I couldn't figure it out. And then I was watching that, OJ Simpson versus the People show. And if you notice, it says what is it? It's a true crime story. Or not true, I've got true crime on the brain. A American crime story instead of American horror story, which it should have gave it away for me right there. But it's I think episode, I can't remember, I think it's episode 5. Anyways, so it shows how Johnny Cochran, I think, had the OJ's defense team go in the house and rearrange stuff to make it feel more homey, like family friendly, so that when the jurors came, it would benefit OJ, and it wouldn't have all these white people and his naked girlfriend in the picture and stuff, whatever. And I was like, that really happened? So I really had to look it up, and apparently it did. I never knew that. I don't remember how old I was when I saw it. I remember watching the Bronco chase, but I definitely wasn't old enough to follow it by all means. So yeah, so I looked it up, and it really happened. And then it hit me, and I said, whoa, that's kind of crazy, because the Watts defense team was in their house, and we don't know what they were doing in there. It looked like they were doing forensics. Looked like they might have carried some picture frames out. I don't know, but I just thought it was really strange and really pointless body cam footage again in the case. And I said, holy shit. Like, that's the same as the OJ case. And then I find out that Ryan Murphy, the producer of American Horror Story, is the producer of the OJ Simpson versus People, or the People versus OJ Simpson. So, sorry for rambling. I'm trying to get it out, but I don't know who's controlling the narrative. All I know is that someone has had foreknowledge. They're controlling this narrative, or we're controlling, and just like the producers of American Horror Story use, you know, real life, or serial killers and killers from classic horror films in American Horror Story, they're doing the same thing in the Watson narrative. So, like, everything I brought up in the video, like Ted Bundy, and people can argue, Megan, you're probably pushing it. I think you got your tinfoil hat on, but with all the other connections, you can't ignore it. Like, you just like Ted Bundy, I mean, it's just, when you look at all the other connections, there's no way to ignore it, and it makes sense. It makes sense that whoever's doing it, they're mimicking, what Murphy and Falchuk do and get their inspiration from for American Horror Story. And yeah, so there's probably a lot more connections that I haven't even picked up on, because, like I said, I'm still new to the true crime community, and I haven't followed cases like all you guys do. So that's why I said at the end of the video that if you guys notice anything else, please tell me, because there's probably many, and it's really, when they do this in these kind of events, it's actually pretty brilliant how they incorporate all these people and all these details into the case. And that's why they take, if this is a social experiment, or if this is that, it takes sometimes years to orchestrate these things. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. I think they think it's kind of just like thrown together, but no. So if you think about it, if the connection started coming or showing up in the first season of American Horror Story, that came out in 2011. So how many years ago was that? 9 years ago. So minimum, they've been working on this for 9 years in planning this. It's kind of crazy if you think about that. And I know people have said, well, how do we know that Chris, just wasn't an American Horror Story fan, and he was just a creeper, and he's just obsessed with it, and he's following American Horror Story? Usually I'd say, oh yeah, probably. I mean, that could be it. Maybe he's just obsessed with the show. Well, if that were the case, he would have to had somehow managed to incorporate all these people that he works with, and somehow get them to work with him and to match the show. You see what I'm saying? So it's not possible. I'm such a rambler. I'm sorry, guys. This is why I don't do lives very often, because everything that I am trying to say, it sounds perfectly fine in my head, and I can spew it out, and then I get on these lives and I'm like, blah, 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 blah. But we'll get there eventually. So let me look at the chat real quick, and I know that we've been on here for a while, so. And I would actually do more, but I just have to kind of get on here when I just have a chance, as you can see. And on another live, I want to go over, I'm going to show you guys a website, and a couple websites actually, and I wanted to show you, it's like, just like how, Dr. B says, like, I'm a very visual person, so I have to actually, like, look at stuff. Like, you could tell me something and a bunch of things that's fine, but I actually need to see it, so I actually want to just show you guys the characteristics in other orchestrated events, and just go, because there's a really great website and it really goes through all the details of it, and it's just, so if you guys are interested in me doing that, I will do that, because um, I'm not saying that I know everything about the case. I'm not. I mean, the girl, Shanann and the girls may very well be deceased. I don't know, and I'm not going to sit here and say that I do, but I can only go based off of past, because before I was introduced to all of you wonderful people in the true crime community, my thing is, if you guys can't already tell, is conspiracy theories and orchestrated government um, events, and the moon landings, and um, flat Earth. List goes on. So I really started following the Las Vegas shooting case like every single day, like this case. And so I can only go, what I'm trying to say is I can only go based on what I've seen in the past of these events. I mean, there's a pattern. They use the same protocol. I don't know if that's the correct word, in all of these events. And so, and I don't want to, like I said, I don't know anything about the case, but I'm not gonna, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm, as far as I know, I'm really the only one that's saying here, this is why this doesn't make sense. This is why the case was closed so early. This is why this is, and I'm saying, I'm showing you guys, I'm saying, this is frequent patterns, and they keep doing it, and they don't change them. So I have to go more based off of what I've seen in the past as far as these events goes over anything else. So when I list all these red flags, it's like, I'm trying to think of an example. Well, for one, like Chris didn't fit the part. He doesn't seem like someone that would be a family annihilator. All these, most of these, not all, most of these other, I don't like to say fake, but orchestrated events. I've shown you, that Stephen Paddock, he didn't fit the part as, as a mass shooter, just like Chris Watson did. Just like showing you on, on paper, like look at these patterns that they're doing, and compare them and see that they're almost all the same. Granted, they're going to be a little bit different because not every event is the same. They're going to cater to that certain event whichever way they need to. So obviously, Chris isn't. He's not a mass shooter. He's not a terrorist. And I think that's why I was a little thrown back about it, because I've never seen something like this before, as far as government orchestrated events. And as far as like in a family homicide, it's either the mass school shootings, or it's a terrorist attack in London, or um, Las Vegas, whatever. So I was in the same boat. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe this. How could this man do this to his family? That's terrible. Like, how's this even possible? But like I said, a lot of the times they don't fit the profile. That's one of the same characteristics. That's one of the same things that they always use, or they'll end up being the patsy, or there's never a motive. They can't find a motive. Um, the shooter will either conveniently kill himself, or he'll be killed because dead men tell no tales. So the Watts case is a lot different, and then that's why I went back and forth a lot on it. But the predictive programming and the characteristics that it has, it just screams a psyop. And I don't expect anybody to agree with me. And you guys know that I've been trying to be as respectful as possible, to people, because there's so many people that have been affected by this case. And to be honest with you, that was the goal. That was one of the main goals. Main goals was to, in my opinion, we have to be so careful with that now. But Shanann had all her information, all her dirty laundry on Facebook. All her videos were made public. In my opinion, this was to emotionally draw people into Shanann and the girls, and allow other women to relate to Shanann's trials and tribulations, and with their own in their lives. And so many times I've heard people say, gosh, I feel like I know Shanann, I feel like I know the girls, I feel like they're I feel like almost family, because she posted her whole life, I mean everything, on Facebook. And so in my opinion, that was done on purpose. Everything in this case is done for a reason, if that makes sense. So here, you have this woman, she's got these a lot of medical issues, as well as her children, and she's just a mom, and she's just she's a saleswoman, and she's got problems like every other husband and wife do, and so that's made it easy for people to really emotionally get attached to this case. And it worked. I mean, obviously it worked. And again, at the beginning, I was just disgusted with it all, and I couldn't believe it. But that's where they get you. So, and then now you have women that say, this is crazy. I don't even know if I can trust my own husband now. Like, just because one guy murders his family, that shouldn't be a reason why you shouldn't be able to trust the one person in your life that is there to protect your family. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's crazy to think that way, but they want you to be scared. They want you to be able to trust the people closest to you. And now I'm just rambling. I think I'm going to have to start sticking to some sort of script here, because either that, or I'm just going to record myself when I'm just talking to somebody just randomly or something, and then I'll just play it back for you guys, and then it'll just make a lot more sense. There's just so much that I want to say about this case in a second, and I still hold back because I mean, I could take some flack and stuff like that, but it's not because I am trying to be disrespectful about and saying that people that's why they, again, so then that brings it out to me. That makes me think of that. The reason why they do that on purpose is another thing they do, is they, in events like this, they make it so horrific that it just gets to people's emotions, and it's so unbelievable, but then it's like it's believable, you know. But yeah, but there's like so many just things are going on in my brain that I just want to just like spew it all out to you guys, but it's just so hard because there's so much to and I wish I was a better speaker because I would, you know, like all these other YouTube creators or channel creators, but um this would be so much easier to explain. And I get on these lives thinking that I'm going to just be able to do it and not make videos because the videos take so much time. And yeah, it'd be so much easier to just get on here and say this is what this and this and this and this, like I do when I'm not on a live, but then it doesn't happen that way. So that's why I wish somebody would call in, or the chat went faster so I could see, you know, your guys' questions so there wasn't so much dead space. And that way it's a lot easier for me to answer questions than it would be to sit here and try to say everything that I'm trying to say about everything. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'll just write a book. I'm just kidding. Yeah, right. I'll have somebody write it for me and then. Okay, reading the chat. And I know a lot of creators, they say, oh, I want to try and keep it under 2 hours, but I say, fooey. There's so many times where people say, you know, for instance, like how could Chris have so much? How Chris didn't have enough time to be texting people and, you know, and dig a hole and do all this stuff and do all this stuff. And I kind of like sit there and I'm like, it's kind of like almost, I go, I know, like, that's what I've been trying to say, guys, because it's not possible, you know. And if you honestly, I don't know, nobody wants to think that they've been duped or that they were made a fool of or that, you know, that they were tricked, or, you know, and cognitive dissonance will get in the way, and, you know, people's pride will get in the way. But, and again, I've been trying to be as respectful as possible, but it's not working in my favor whatsoever. I'm to the point where I just need to say, hey, this is what it is. You know, I'm not expecting you to believe me. I'm saying, here it is on paper. They have same the same, you know, process. I don't know the word I'm looking for is, but that they do they in all of these events. So I'm saying, here you go, guys. Like, here this is. Look at them. Look how similar they are. So far, we don't have any other answers for, you know, why nothing makes sense in this case. And I'm, you know, I'm saying, here it is, guys. This is why the, you know, this is why there was no trial. This is why um, it doesn't make sense how Chris could do this. It doesn't make sense, you know, whatever. All the things I hear all the time. Of course, I can't think of three things right now. And I know that Panther could let it out, Megan. I know I'm trying. Um, spit it out. I know that my theory is not the theory that everybody wants to hear. They want to hear that Kessinger is held accountable for, did I just say cannibal? Held accountable for, lying to police and for the, you know, horrible investigation into Kessinger, and they want justice. But all I can say is sorry. Like this, in my opinion, that if this doesn't, if this, I'm not going to keep, telling you guys what you want to hear just so that you guys will keep watching my videos. That's not why I'm here. I'm here because I personally know that we have been lied to on a massive scale, and we, the public, deserve to know what the F is going on and why we've been lied to. And why they're throwing it in our faces with all these connections and predictive programming. And so if that's not the best theory or whatever ending that everybody wants to hear, then I'm sorry, but in my opinion, I honestly, I wanted Nicole Kessinger to be polygraphed and be investigated and everything just as much as anybody else did at the beginning of this. All that changed once I started noticing all this stuff and all these similarities to all these other events. And unfortunately, I honestly, guys, it's not going to happen. And if you guys don't want to ever watch my videos again because I'm saying that, or I have no other content to, talk about, I mean, you guys see me in live. I can talk the facts with you guys and stuff and theories and stuff. And I'm open to, I'm always open to all theories because, like I said, I don't know everything about this case. All I know is what I've seen, like I said, from past events, and it matches. So for me, I have to believe that over, other theories because that to me makes more sense. And the reason why nobody's come out and said that they know Kessinger or whatever. I don't know how they do that. I don't know why it works like that in these sort of events, but I don't know if they sign waivers. I don't know. I don't know how the process works. All I know is that in other events, same thing has happened where they're like, how has nobody come out and said that they know any of these people that have died, or in a shooting, or in Las Vegas or something. How is that possible that nobody has come out and said that, yeah, I specifically know that, but like they've said that they know somebody that knows somebody that died, but they've never personally said, yes, my cousin, whatever, was the one that got shot in the Vegas shooting. Like I would imagine they have to sign some sort of waiver to where, or something, that if they agree to it, they either lose whatever they're getting paid, or they'll be taken to court if they speak out and say anything. I don't know. All I'm saying is that I keep seeing the patterns, and that's what I have to go with. And that's why Nicole Kessinger is never going to come out and give a statement. She's never going to give her side of the story. Like, I can't say never, of course, because I know I'll say never and she'll come out with a book, or her attorney will speak for her. But, as far as I know, she's probably most likely not going to come out and give a statement. She's never going to be investigated because it's just not going to happen, unfortunately. And that should piss everybody off because it pisses me off. And like I said, I don't want you guys to believe me. I don't want you guys to just, that's my whole thing, at the end of my videos, is think for yourself. And so that's why I try, like I said in my videos, that I try to give you sources and stuff so you guys can go and take this information and compare it. And so that's why I want to do my next live, specifically on, false flags and orchestrated events, and just show you, on paper, compared to me putting it in a video and just saying it, even though I show pictures and stuff, but so that you guys can see it, and then you guys can make an informed decision whether or not. And that's what I was trying to say earlier about them making it so horrific. They make these events so horrific that anybody that wants to or tries to speak out about any of these, the school shootings or terrorist attacks, whatever, like, they make them so horrific, and we know how horrific this case is. That they make it so horrific that anybody that tries to speak up about it is considered crazy or a conspiracy theorist. So they do that on purpose. They make it as horrific as possible so that, if they speak up, it's how dare you say that, and you're crazy, that, like, you're a horrible person. Why would you say that nobody died? Like, what kind of person do you think you are? Like, you're just a conspiracy. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. And it works. And a lot of people, as myself, I, was worried about backlash and stuff like that, and what more along the lines of hurting other people, because I know that they've been affected, like I said. But they do that on purpose so that people don't speak out about it for fear of, being called a horrible piece of shit, pretty much. And again, it works most of the time. You have the few people that come out and say, enough's enough. This is, the thing is if nobody can believe that Chris is capable of killing his children and his wife, because he doesn't come off as that, right? But how many times have we heard, and how many times have we said it? Chris doesn't seem like someone. He doesn't fit the part. He doesn't seem. He just. How could he? There's no possible way he did it. So then we have. Well, maybe there's accomplices and stuff, and maybe he didn't really do it and stuff. But now I get lost again. Point, Megan. Point. I don't remember what I was saying, guys, but maybe I should end it now. I'll look in the chat real quick. Before the next live, I will, how about this? I will write down, every time I think of something, I'll just write it down. I won't, write it word for word. I was going to say verbatim, and then, oh God, Messenger. I won't write it word for word, but I'll write my notes down so I don't forget them, and then I'll just bring them up. And I said, okay, yep, this is what I was trying to bring up in the last live. This one. I'll just carry a little notepad with me. Uh-oh. So that way, I'm not rambling. I make sense. So that maybe we can actually start making sense about all this case. About this casing. So let me look at the chat here, and then. Let's see here. I saw Mama Bear's question, which I will get to. I'm going to just scroll up really quick. Oh, I remember my point. The point is that nobody can believe that Chris is capable of doing something like this. But then we've, kind of accepted it. So if if Chris is capable of doing something like, if we actually believe that Chris is capable of doing something like killing his entire family, then, and I brought this up in another way, why is it any harder to believe that our government, if you're in the U.S., is, or anywhere actually, it doesn't have to be the U.S., it's all government. Why is it that more difficult to believe that the government is capable of lying to us, and that, you know, that Shanann and Chris and whoever else that is involved might actually not be, I don't want to say good people. I mean, you never know. There could be a number of reasons why they would agree to do something like this. Most of the time it's money, but we don't know why they would do it. But if we can believe that Chris is capable of someone like Chris is capable of killing his entire family, then why is it so hard to believe that there are people out there that are, that have an agenda and are doing it for personal gain? Like, how is that any harder to believe than someone like Chris Watts killing his entire family? Like, does that make sense? Because it's not the first time, if this is, if I might, that the government's lied to us. I mean, it goes back years that they've been doing these false flags and stuff like that. So, I mean, just a little bit of research, and you'll see that they've done it in the past, and they're going to keep doing it. What are we at? Okay, so I'll say I'll probably end this in like 10 minutes. We'll keep it under 2 hours. Okay, just reading the chat here. Helicopter flying by. Jennifer Madison, the unconventional warfare manual. Okay, I will do that. Can you guys hear that? Like, literally, they're like, I think they're on to me. They're like hovering over my house right now. That's insane. So you're onto something when you got helicopters flying, hovering over your house. Okay, hold on, guys. Oh my gosh, okay, I'm sorry. I had to go look because I was like, what's going on? There's a fire somewhere, I guess. I don't know. Okay, so we're good. They're not coming after me. Okay. Look at George Floyd. I'm not supposed to say that name. So I almost said it. Jan, you almost got me into trouble. Um, this is ridiculous. Between everything else, nobody else has like this many issues with their lives. A chicken rancher's license. Yeah, I don't think you need a chicken rancher's license. Yeah, Jennifer Madison, I use Flight Radar. Of course, they're not going to show you anything if it was government related. But okay, so I'm not seeing any questions, guys. I figured you guys would have like a million. A million. That was over exaggerated. Cupcake Rainbow. Yes. Cute name. Uh, Astropilot. Yes. I have to agree with him on a lot of things um, about the case because he does believe it's right. And he is actually one that is not worried, obviously, about um, offending anybody because he's said multiple times that this case is effing fake and just take it for what it is, which is fine. That's his way of going about it. I have no problem with that. Um, but yes, I do. I have to. He has a lot of good points. I don't agree with him on everything, but that's going to happen. But pretty much, I agree with him because yes, he thinks it's fake as well. And I don't like to say fake; it just sounds terrible. But like, unfortunately, there are some like just really shitty people in this world, and I mean, look at everything that's going on right now, and people are not always what they seem, and I'm trying to watch what I'm saying because I know that about talking bad about victims and stuff like that, but I gotta stop holding back because my whole reason for making videos is to get the truth out there, and I'm not gonna be able to do it if I can keep worrying about saying something about Shanann or saying something about you know whatever, because then that's a big problem with me, trying to tell you guys what I'm trying to say, but if I'm always worried about offending people. So I don't know, maybe I should go to a different platform. I don't know, but there's a lot of really shitty people out there, especially these days, and it sucks now that every back in the day you used to be able to watch the news and get real news, like that's what they were there for, and now not all news. I'm not saying all news is fake now, but before when you could just watch the news and get the news and believe it, now you actually have to figure out what news is real and factual and what is all propaganda, and it sucks because it's ridiculous. But a lot of mainstream news, they're there for one reason, and that's to push the narrative. And that's another reason why you don't see we didn't see uh, news outlets really pushing, the case like we are, because they had one agenda, and that was to push the narrative down our throats that Chris Watts killed his family and only him. And once that's done, they don't pursue the case anymore because they did their job. But yeah, so there's unfortunately terrible people out there, and unfortunately it's that there might just be some people that would do this for personal gain. But again, that's the whole point of drawing people's emotions in to Shanann and the girls. That's why there's so many videos of the girls, because if you they just want us to, they don't want us to think, they just want us to react. They want us to say, oh my god, this is so terrible, like, oh my god, those poor girls, Shanann, what am I going to do? They don't want us to be able to think for ourselves anymore. They cause the problem, we react, and then we ask for a solution from them. The whole cause reaction solution thing. And okay, so I'm sorry, back to Mama Bear's questions. How do I feel about the emails? Oh, about the files. Well, the research that I have done with, I don't know if it's just core requests or if it's, I'm sure it's with FOIA requests too, or whatever, Aura, for whatever state it's supposed to be an open record state. I don't know if they're all like that, but it's fair to say that they probably are. But with the research that I did on, because I thought about requesting not all the files, but just you know specifically pretty much what Dr. B is trying to get, and that's Kessinger's phone data dump. But even then, even if we did get it, who knows what's real and what's not? Like, and I know a lot of people think, Megan, everything's not fake, everything's not a set. I know that. If I thought that, then I would be making videos about all these other cases, and I don't. I'm For once, I'm passionate because I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm sorry, but it's like, so like they feel like this is my time to actually, like, because most of the time it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I know a lot about something, but whatever. But I truly feel like this is what's happening and this is what's happened, and I just want the truth like anybody else. And unfortunately, my truth is just a little bit different from a lot of people's. So, um, the only thing that I can do, or that especially since I feel like this case is not going to be reopened, the only thing we can do, and that I'm trying to do, is make people aware of these characteristics, so that you you can spot them in the future. So if you know them, and they're easy to spot if you know them. So let's say another case comes out, a murder case, a familicide case, and all these characteristics start popping up again. Then you can sit back and you say, oh, wait a second, you know, this looks a lot like those characteristics from what Megan was like. So at least you can, we can't. I don't know if there's anything, but if we can't do anything about this case, um, at least we can know what to look for in the future, so that we aren't affected emotionally, and it doesn't take a hold of our lives. You know what I'm saying? So that, and they can't push propaganda on us, and you can say, oh, sorry, but you're not going to fool me this time on this one. that's my reasoning for making these. One of my reasons for making these videos is that just to make people aware, and so that they can just know what to look for in the future. I guess is what I'm saying. But anyways, I'm so sorry. Back to the files. Okay. The core request, from what I researched, is that they make it nearly impossible for you to get the documents that you are requesting. They give you the runarounds, just like they did or are doing to Dr. B. And, it's pretty stupid because the county clerk or whoever it is that does the public records, like, that's their job. Their job, the taxpayers are the ones who are, the ones that are, donating to this county clerk's paycheck. The taxpayers pay their money to go towards the county clerk's paycheck so that she or he can walk their, happy little butt back or get on the computer, whatever they do to get these files for us. They work for us. It's not the other way around. They work for us. That's her job. His or her job is to get these files for us. So the fact that they, one, the taxpayers are already paying it, and two, they're charging again to do redacting and for the time and for cost of, CDs and whatever. So it's almost like, it's not almost, we are paying twice. We're paying twice for them to do their job. And it's all about money. It's all about the money. It's always about the money. Like here, we're going to become an open record state, or sunshine state. I don't know what they call it, but and we're going to give you these documents because you, the public, deserve to know what's going on inside the government and what our police force is doing, and but we're going to decide what you can and cannot see. And granted, yes, there are times where it's probably not deemed whatever for the public. There are certain situations for that. But they make it seem like, they're doing us a favor by, being transparent and making all these documents, public, but in reality, they're really not. And why are they having to go back and redact them all again? They're already redacted. Well, they should have been, actually. That's funny. It should have been redacted already, because in any other normal homicide case, every single person, age, birthday, everything would be redacted. Especially minors, anyone under 16. So Nicholas Atkinson's face on the body cam legally should have been blurred out because he was a minor. He was underage at the time. Madison's face, Madison Atkinson, her face should have been blurred out on the body cam, and it wasn't. And that should tell you guys right there a lot, because you can't go in people's houses, these neighbors' houses, show everything that's inside their homes, what security cameras they have, the items in their house, how long her husband's down in the basement for, how many hours a day he's there for, when they go on vacation. You just can't do that. And for the fact that, and to think that none of these neighbors would have any issue with their whole house being broadcast on to the world, and their homes and their kids, the neighbor that had the kids that saw the van or the guy throw the beer can out, their faces should have been redacted. So why is this the only case where none of these people's information was redacted? Addresses, phone numbers, I mean, look, go look up any, on Document Cloud, go look up any CBI or whatever case, and police case, and you're gonna see that all you're gonna see on that the case report is black, 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 black. That's all you're gonna see. You're not gonna see hardly any white. So even if it is a public records, or open record state, you still have to redact people's personal information. You can't do that. You can't just post personal information about people, regardless if it went to trial or not. And that's really one of the main questions you have to ask yourselves is, why is this the only case where all of this information was released? I mean, if you can find another one where they release this much, no, I don't think you're going to find one, honestly. The only time I've seen information not be redacted in a case is because it's the suspect's name in the case, and I've seen their social security number in there, and that's because they were deceased at the time when this discovery came out, or the case files. That's the only time. Like, nobody has a problem with all their information being released. None of these people that wrote Chris, these crazy women that wrote Chris in prison, are not pissed off that their bikini pictures were broadcasted like all over the world. Come on. Like, I'm pretty sure like that's probably a lawsuit or something to release someone's, face in a private letter that they wrote to somebody, to the public. But I got off track again. So Mama Bear's question. They make it so difficult that it's almost like you don't even want to try to. I mean, I've never requested any documents, but like just what I've seen, and I've watched, just a couple videos on it, like one case where um, these police officers followed this African American man home from work, profiled him. This was a Colorado case, and um, profiled him all the way to his house. I think he got out of his car, went in his house, and then he actually came out and his front yard and questioned, I think, why the police officers were outside of his home or something. And so, long story short, they ended up like arresting him for just being in his front yard, and they didn't pull him over or anything. They just followed him to his house, and so he tried to go to the county clerk and get his files, his own personal files for his case, his police case, and they wouldn't give it to him. He had to hire a lawyer and prove or give a good enough reason why he deserved his own case files. And granted, he got them, but he also had to pay a lawyer all his money, and that's bullshit. So if this guy can't even get his own personal files, you can, imagine how hard it would be to get these files for this case. And I can see, right through Amanda Purcell. She's so like not transparent whatsoever. She's very vague, when she responds to Dr. B's emails. Like, she's, oh, we it's not possible for us to specifically go and find one document. For example, the Kessinger's phone dump. Bullshit. You can find it. Like, it's 2020. Go on your little computer and type in the document number or whatever, and give me the freaking document. It can't be that difficult. So they just give you the runaround because they make it seem like, they're doing us a favor by making all these documents public, but in reality they're not making them public, because when they do, they're redacted half the time, which is fine. But then they use that excuse, it's not deemed safe for the whatever, I can't remember what it is, but for it's not whatever for the public's interest. Like 80% of the time, they will use that excuse to not give you those documents. And if you ask for a reason why you were denied, they have to tell you and they have to give you a reason. But guess what? They're probably going to say it's not deemed. I can't remember the word, but something for the public interest. Whatever. Blah 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 blah. Same one they use most of the time. It's like, good excuse. Is he going to use that one for everything? So, I hope Dr. B, I hope she does get something new. But I just, from Amanda Purcell's emails, like, I just feel like she was just giving her the runaround, to be honest with you, because by saying that she doesn't know specifically what's in the case files and that you have to buy the whole case files, her not being transparent and, not being able to specifically tell Dr. B whether or not those documents are going to be in there, to me that seems like she's just saying, oh, well, yeah, well, we'll give you all the case files, but what are really all the case files? Are those just the, the documents that we already have? Because it's all about the money. There's $2,500 in their pocket. Boom. That they should already, that's their job. Bottom line, that's their job. So it comes down to it. It's all about, again, the money. And it's a joke. It's a joke. They're not worried about the public's interest. They're not doing it so that we, like they're doing us some sort of favor. Like, oh yes, we want to be transparent and you deserve to know what goes on in, your own police force and stuff. No, it's definitely all about the money. But, and so if you do want to request public files or documents, if you're going to do it, you have to be, and I told Dr. B this in an email. I said, you have to be as specific as possible so that they can't find an excuse to say, oh, I don't know if we have that. Because if you're vague, they can just say, oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. But if you say, hey, I want, you just have to be as specific as possible so that they can't find and wiggle their way out of making an excuse and by saying that and give you the runaround that they don't have it. So you need to say, they're specific. They have some templates that you can print out and then you can that seem to work well, and then you can add whatever you want to it and make it as long as you want. And so if you want a document, if you have any chance of getting it, you have to be specific and you have to say, I want, from the Christopher Watts case that happened on August 2018, and then you have to put, the Chris's case number, and then, or whatever case number it is, and then what specifically from what police district has it or whatever, if it's CBI or Frederick, whatever. So you have to know, you have to do your research, and you have to know what you're talking about. You have to know what you want, and you have to they have to know that you know what you're talking about, or they're just going to give you the runaround and they're going to play you. Because if they know for a second that you don't, that you're just like, oh, I think I'm looking for this. Do you guys have this one? No, you got to go in there strong. You got to know your shit. And you got to say, this is what I want specifically. And you need to tell me, how much I owe, and I mean, don't be rude about it, obviously, but you have to, it's like calling one of those, like a cable company, like you better like know your shit, or they're gonna freaking they're gonna play you because then they're gonna take you for every dime you got, pretty much. Um, so if I wanted the phone data dumps, I would say what I just said, and then I'd say, um, and I would give her a screenshot of the discovery that shows the number of Nicole Kessinger's data dump, and in the PDF, whenever, if there's a picture, whatever, and then send as many screenshots as you can, and just be pretty much specific as possible. You have to, or they're just gonna give you the runaround. Unfortunately, and it is, it's BS, because they don't care. Pretty much, they don't care, and I'm sure she's just doing her job like always. But so I hope that kind of answers your question, Mama Bear. Gosh, you guys probably think, gosh, she just rambles. What is she talking about? Just reading the chat. Yeah, that's weird. That when I saw that on the whitepages.com that day when I just searched Chris again, I was like, oh, I'll just search for him again, see what pops up. It shows that he lives in Bogota, Texas, in like this 1,200-foot tiny little house, and of course the addresses don't match up. Um, but I'm like, how do they? I'm like, I know the information on those public search websites are, they get it wrong. They don't always get everything right, but then they literally shows that Chris is living in Bogota, Texas, because it shows that his previous address was 2825 Saratoga Trail. And so I'm just kind of like, okay, so I thought he was supposed to be in prison. Why is he living in Bogota, Texas? So very strange, but yeah, Mama Bear. So the fact that Amanda Purcell was so vague just um, about what documents they have specifically, and just and how they were sending Dr. B, saying, "Oh, you have to go to Thornton. Oh, you have to go to the DA. Oh, you have to go." They just make it so flippin' difficult that you just almost like half the people probably just give up. So, like I said, if you're gonna request documents, know your shit. You got to be as specific as possible, and just be persistent, I guess. But and even that is not guaranteed that they're going to give you what you want. So, especially in a case like this, where nothing is done the way it's supposed to be. It's like, here I am searching for, in the Colorado revised statutes, like my brain is mush because I hate law jargon, and I'm trying to figure out why all this is being done, why work is doing all this stuff, and trying to read and learn the law when he himself is not even following the law. So how can we, you know, prove otherwise, or, prove that he's not following the law, or he's not whatever, if they're not even doing everything by code? You know what I'm saying? It's like, so I find myself going, yeah, but typically in a a trial or a case or whatever, this is, but then I forget that this isn't a typical case. and nothing is done the way it's supposed to be done. Like redacting and not releasing people's personal information and actually investigating people that delete evidence and and don't let because the whole thing about the they just wanted to they didn't want Kessinger to lawyer up. They didn't want her to lawyer up. Because they needed her they needed to get her statement, and they needed evidence or whatever. She wasn't saying anything before that anyways, even when they were playing the nice guy. So her whole blabbing on and and macros and whatever and blah 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 blah. Like at that point, I'd say, you know what? Go ahead, lawyer up. I don't fucking care because you haven't given anything prior to this, so it's not going to hurt us either way. It's just it's so frustrating, and it's very frustrating. Stephanie, yeah, Stephanie. I know he did actually go, and he did cut his client's hair, but I didn't go with him. I couldn't go that day. But I do want to ask him a few more questions. Hi, Cindy Surfer. Yeah, and then the fact is, I don't know how it's possible why do they have Colorado revised statutes? Why do they have laws? Granted, they can be revised, but if you look at the current 2019 statutes, uh, under plea agreements, section blah 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 blah. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I can find it for you. It's in my video, but states that under a plea agreement that a defendant must provide a factual basis for the crime or crimes for which they committed. That's not verbatim, like Kessinger would say, but Chris should have had to give a factual basis um, for his crimes. And what's funny is because everything we've heard, nothing matches up. It's like we say, oh, he doesn't even know how the girls died. If Chris would have told that to a trial judge, the trial judge would have laughed and said, "I'm not approving this plea agreement. Are you freaking kidding me?" But again, it goes back to if this whole thing is orchestrated, then of course the trial judge isn't going to say anything about Chris not having to provide a factual basis because he's in on it. You know, I can sit there and say, "Oh, it doesn't make sense. Why would they not do that?" But it makes sense when you know that it's not real. Because they just, scrape over everything and just expect people that they're not going to notice. And then if we do notice, it's like, what the hell are we going to do about it? They know that. What are we going to do about it? And they know that it's probably likely that there's going to be a lot um, more people that are going to not believe that this is. Did I just say like a double negative? There's going to be less people that, like myself, um, that think it's not that it's. I don't like to say not real. That it's orchestrated compared to know all the other people that were affected by the case and stuff. And it's not like I'm not saying that they're like not smart enough to notice or something. But people, unless you know what to look for, and you know these characteristics, and that's why I want to, that's why I'm trying to, show you guys this, is that unless you know what to look for, then you're not going to think anything of it. Especially when people have jobs and they have lives and stuff like that. I'm not saying I don't have a life, but you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of you guys are true crime, and I'm not true crime. I'm like I said earlier, I'm new to this community. I'm conspiracy. That's my thing. So the fact that you guys found me was by accident. Take that for what you will, but but yeah. So the factual basis thing is, if the DA doesn't even have to, you know, follow, if they don't even have to follow their own statutes, then, like I said, what do we have laws for? But in a normal, typical homicide case, the defendant has to provide a factual basis, which is details of the crime or crimes of which they committed, as part of the plea agreement. That is a stipulation of a plea agreement. And one of the main reasons for it is so that innocent people um, don't go to jail, or to avoid prosecutorial misconduct or being forced into pleading guilty. That's why they have that stipulation. So for Krista, normally when people accept a plea deal, they have to give something in return. They have to give something so that they don't get the death penalty. What did Chris give? He didn't give anything. But because he agreed, or I mean not agreed, but he pled guilty to the murders. Like, that's, but he already um, admitted to killing Shanann, so they already got him for that. So what Chris didn't have anything to give the courts to avoid the death penalty. He gave nothing. And there's so much circumstantial evidence that, you know, any normal defense team would be like, you're not freaking pleading guilty. Are you freaking kidding me? Like, Rourke just admitted that they can't even see shit on the camera of him loading the bodies. And that he admitted that he pretty much took Chris's word for everything he said because it sounded like it fit. No. Sorry, but it's not. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a DA. I don't know a lot about the court systems, but when I can read, the statutes and know that this is what you have to do in order to have a plea agreement accepted from a trial judge. And not only did he didn't do it, but they completely left it out of Chris's plea agreement and waiver. And then we're just supposed to be okay with that? Like, and in a normal, justice system, that would not fly, because you can't just leave out a stipulation. I don't care who the hell you are. Like, and what trial judge would just say, oh, okay, well, I guess if you guys don't think he has to, give the details of the crime he committed, then I guess, okay, plea agreement approved. No. The only time they're going to do that is if they're either corrupt and in on it, or it's not real. And like the psychiatrist I talked to, he said that these small little towns on the outskirts of Colorado, they do pretty much whatever they want to do. And these people that have worked at Frederick and stuff, these police officers, they've been there for years. So the internet says. So they're all, they're all tight knit. Because he said if the crime happened in Colorado, in Denver, they wouldn't be able to get away with it because it's so big. So like Greeley and Weld County and all that stuff. He said that he's had over 40 years experience in the court systems in Colorado, and he said that they even back then they were just as corrupt. They were corrupt and doing whatever the hell they wanted. So I don't know, but I should probably end it now. 2.5 hours. Right when I get on a roll, right? Good night, Stephanie. Thank you for coming. Yeah, Jennifer Madison. She says, "Oh, I don't. I guess. Oh, I forgot I can post comments. See, I probably shouldn't do that because I'm not even going to do that. Okay, Jennifer Madison, to address your comment. People think that there's no way for this to be fake because someone would speak up. No doubt about it. Someone would speak up. It's impossible. There's no way that so many people could be involved. But in reality, that's not true. Like, that's coming from someone that's not in that situation. You know what I mean? Like, put yourself in their shoes. We don't know why they agreed, hypothetically, let's say, to be a part of something like this. Um, they're so quick to, some people are so quick to say, no, they would definitely speak up. Like, there's no way, because people, they would have to talk. But you don't know that. Like, how do we know that they aren't being paid? And if they're being paid quite a bit of money, I'm sure they had to sign a waiver saying if you speak up about this and talk, you're not going to get that money. Or, how about um, maybe their families are threatened. I mean, if you believe that someone like Chris Watts can murder his entire family, then it's definitely believable that there's people out there that would threaten other people's families, to make them not speak up. That'd be a reason. Um, let's see. Another reason could be that maybe they're not in on it, but they're aware of what's going on. Let's say maybe there's other people in the police unit or whatever, and they aren't actually a part of the whatever I'm trying to say, um, the scam. But so maybe they're aware of it, but why would they say anything? Maybe they don't want to lose their job, or maybe because maybe they're scared about losing their job, so they don't say anything. They know what's going on, but nobody wants to lose their job to speak up. Um, Maybe they're afraid that their family would be, threatened. Like, there's just so many possibilities that you can't really say, oh, someone will surely speak up, because there's many reasons why a person might not speak up. Again, maybe they won't speak up for fear of being ridiculed by, their family or people, or their, you know, fellow police officers, and they don't want to be, called a conspiracy theorist and crazy and whatever, like, and a lot of times there really doesn't have to be that many people involved to make something like this work, because they know that the less people that know, the better. Because they know that the less people that are might speak up or might um, f up and mess whatever up. The less the better. And so, for instance, they say all these police officers and whatever, they would have to be on it. Actually, they really don't, because they could be going and doing what they do every day as police officers. You know, Coonrod could very well be had a call to go and do a welfare check on a woman, a pregnant woman, and because her friend called that was worried about her. He doesn't have to be in on it. He's just doing what he's told because that's his job. So, and like, let's see what else. Anybody involved, Chris's coworkers, they could, they could be very well in on it, or they could just simply be Chris's coworkers and they don't have to be in the know, because they're just being Chris's coworkers and they're being interviewed and going to work every day, and you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't, not, it really doesn't take as many people involved as one might think. It really doesn't. So Coonrod could just be very well be doing his job, and Kate Lyons could be doing her job, and all the police officers handing out flyers were probably most likely just told to go pass out flyers because that's their job. So no, it really doesn't take as many as one might think. The less the know, the less the people that know, the better. Some might even, be told. How do we know they weren't told that what they would be doing would, say, oh, you know what you're going to be doing? It's going to be beneficial to the community or to the world, or to, how do you know they weren't made to believe that what they were doing was for a good purpose, but that what they were doing, they says come out to and come to find out that they weren't really doing something, like maybe they were tricked. I don't know. There's a ton of reasons. So for someone to so quickly say that someone would speak up is just nonsense, because unless you're in that situation, then you don't know that. Hi, Bama baby. All right. Well, it's gone on 3 hours, guys, and I've rambled enough, and I've given you guys enough platform, to talk. I know you guys like to do that, and I do too. So I will end this live now. Thank you, mods. I will. I always go back and read the comments and stuff, and that way I can, if anybody has questions, I didn't hardly answer any questions if you guys had any. But I like to go back and I'll look at the lives, and that way I can address questions that people had that I missed. So um, thank you everybody for being here and for your support, and thank you mods, and I will talk to you guys later.